Hi, my name is Kenneth Ifune. I'm the founder and CEO of Eclipse AI, and I happen to be an entrepreneur. And today we are going to talk about distribution. So we're going to look at how distribution plays a big role in our startup journey, and how to actually implement distribution in different stages of our startups. Good. I'll throw a question to you guys. Why do you think most startups in Africa fail? Well, I have a different angle. I'll look at it this way. The reason why most African startups fail is because people don't know that these startups exist. That brings me to describing what distribution is. The simplest way of defining this is, how does your product get to the users? That is the simplest description. So, how your product actually reaches your users. That is distribution. Good. So, we have actually always had that a good product with zero distribution is dead, but a bad product with a good distribution will always sell. So, for example, if I was building an app right now, and my main aim is to build it as fast as possible, and I have a distribution channel. Let's say, for example, I'm a social, I'm a content creator, and I have my community, and you see, like, I push this app to my community. That is a very good distribution because you already have a community that your app actually goes to. But then if you are actually just creating a new application without actually thinking around how you're going to get your users, or how people are actually going to get you on the other side, you're dead. So distribution is one of the things that you actually have to think about a lot when you're building a product. Sit down, map out who is my target user, who is my customer, and how am I going to get my customer. Are my customers on Reddit? Are my customers on Instagram? Are my customers teachers? Are my customers entrepreneurs? Are my customers lawyers? Or are my customers drivers? And so and so. You map out and say, so if my customers are supermetro drivers, so what I do is I'll try to find a way in which, if I want to introduce a ride-hailing app to these drivers, what is the easiest way possible to actually make sure that these people get to use my app? That is what distribution is. So in the next 15, 16 minutes, we're actually going to look at distribution at scale. Why do we think we need to actually put distribution as one of the key pillars when building a startup? Okay, good. So I have a few bullet points here. We're going to talk about them as we continue. So I've already described what distribution is, but then what distribution really is, actually, again, it's simply how your product reaches your targeted users. And that part of knowing that who is my user, those are the first things that you're actually supposed to ask yourself. Who is my user? Where are they? How can I find them easily? So, for example, my users are students. Where are they? They are in universities. How easily can I get them? Through clubs and societies. If I was supposed to build, a software or a SaaS for them, that is actually my distribution channel on how to find them. Let me just give you an example of a product that we built that the distribution was not clear, and it actually ended up, being a stumbling block at one point. So we built a product called Wapay. So Wapay was, the easiest way to send money on WhatsApp, and our distribution at that time was, since everyone is using WhatsApp, so we can just put it on WhatsApp, and challenges came because one of the challenges was we really had high transactional fees when it comes to bringing money and taking off money, and we asked ourselves the question of why must someone bring the money to Wapay, or why must someone bring the money to WhatsApp if they're already losing money when using us. So that was a problem because our targeted users were. So we are building this platform because there are people who sell on WhatsApp, but then when they sell on WhatsApp, their users actually fall off. So I go to Instagram and find a good pair of shoes, and what happens is I click the ad and then it takes me to WhatsApp. I ask the questions about the shoe and how actually I can find it. And that time for delivery, when the shoe vendor asks about how do we deliver, and then you get lost. And so we're like, what if we can bring payments integrated in WhatsApp in such a way that people can actually finish that type of transaction on WhatsApp rather than going to direct person. So that was actually our distribution channel. It never worked for us because we never dived into who is really our customer and why is it not working for us. But then we actually try to figure out and see how that works and try and see. So good. So types of distribution channels. So we have virality. First is virality, where users bring other users. For example, Uber. The simple thing that is always in your app that bring a friend to bring a friend, and then you get 10 more points. So I know you guys use Lagan a lot, or Bolt, or all these vibe coding tools, and they have one of the things that they have is bring a friend to get 10 more prompts, or bring a friend to get 10% cashback or something. That is distribution. So your users already talk to other users to come actually inside your app and help out. The second one is content and community. People, one of the things that I've actually learned is people trust you when they see you. So, for example, we are building a product called Therabot. We're trying to make mental health cheaper and accessible anywhere, anytime with AI. And the more we put content out there, the more people trust us. The more you actually put content out there, the more people trust you more and actually come to your platforms. And that is number two. That is another thing that you actually need to look at. Number three is paid acquisition, putting ads, marketing, influencers, and sponsorships. Number four is sales and outbound, especially for B2B. And another one is partnerships and integrations. Let me talk about this for a bit. So when it comes to distribution, when it comes to partnerships and integrations, one of the things that you can actually look at, this is, there's a saying that goes that partnerships is the fastest way to grow as a startup. 100%. If you actually want to gain as many followers or as many users as possible, go for partnerships. Because then there is the bad side of partnerships that we'll actually also talk about. But look at it this way. So you're building an app for, let's go back to our example, you're building an app for students, and you're building a mental health app for students. Let's use mental health because we're already building it that space. So you're building a mental health app for students, and what you're looking at this place is, okay, so what is the easiest way to actually reach the students? One of the things that you can actually do is partnership. So partner with their local clubs and ask questions about how they do things, how they carry out themselves and things like that. So partnerships, if you want to grow faster, go for partnerships. Another one is marketplaces and platforms whereby you use WhatsApp, referrals and things like that. And then there is that offline side of distribution whereby you send, you do events, you do referrals, and send agents. So the other one was distribution by startup stage. So distribution is, we have talked about it this way. This is one of the things that you actually have to lock in on. Who is my customer? How am I going to find them? And where they stay at, or where they located at. Who is my customer? My customer is students. These are the things that, when you're starting a startup, don't go to Lovable and just create something and push it to the internet and then wait for miracles to happen. Number one, map out who is my customer, who is my target customer. Number two, where are they hanging out, where am I going to find them? Number three, I think I've said that three, where are they hanging out, and then what is the easiest way to find them? For example, we are saying students, so when you're building a mental health app for students, who is my target customer is students. Number two, where do they stay or where do they live is universities. And what is the easiest way to reach them? Give them 50 Kenyan shillings. So, for example, look at how OneCoin did their distribution, which was one of the perfect things that I saw when I was in university. So what they did was, they come and tell you that we have OneCoin, it's coming, and then just register for 50 bob alone, and then we're also going to give you coins after that when you launches. And so, that is a way for distribution. So they know that, okay, our target customer is everyone, but let's lock in on students, where they're in universities. How is the easiest way to actually find them is students are broke, or students don't have money most of the times. And if we come with a catch of 50 shillings for every registration, 50 shillings is a big deal in universities that actually can help out. So before building, talk to your customers and validate the demand. So it still triples down to the rules of distribution. There is number one rule of distribution: who is your customer, where do they stay, how am I going to find them? Now, before you build, go and talk to your customers. Go out there, do surveys. Stop just sitting in your own room and then building a solution and then thinking that the world is going to use it. The world doesn't work like that. I'm someone who has already built a startup that has over 59,000 users all across the world. And so I'm telling you that the easiest and the perfect way to build a startup is talk to your users first, validate the demand. And people actually do this in different ways. So we actually see the Silicon Valley people, what they do is they create a landing page and then try and sell their product and something like that. Try and do those things. Put ads on it and see how actually it works. And then for early stage startups, so for before building, talk to users and validate the demand. For early stage startups, manually onboard users, but then learn faster. So as you onboard users, try to learn, okay, this user has this behavior. They are failing. Why is it failing? Because of this. Earlier, towards when we actually continue to create content, one of the things that we build our own internal tools that actually help us to monitor these things. So one of the videos actually will drop one of our tools that we actually use to help us to see how user behavior looks like. Yeah, so for growth stage, double down on what works. So there's the 70, there's the 70, 20, there's a 15, 70, 15 rule which says 15% is, okay, 70% is double down on what really works. The last 15% is try out new things. And then the other 15% is document what is already working in the 70%. So, which means, put it this way. So, 70% double down. Before going to another startup, thinking that, my users are not liking me or, I'm not getting any money here, do this thing. So, use the, let's put it as the 70-20-10 rule. So, whereby the 70% you double down on what already works. So, we have this app that has 10 features. Customers are only using 2. Double down on those 2 and actually give them the best, they can actually ever ask for in those 2 features. And then the 20% is now document. So people will be using this 70%. So now let me document the 70% so that any other person that is actually still coming, they actually get an easier way or easier path. Then the 10% that is remaining, try out new things. So what if we bring this feature? What if we bring this feature and actually see how that goes? For growth stage, so double down on what works. And then for scale stage, build systems and teams. We'll actually also talk about systems as we continue. But from my entrepreneur friends, this is one of the things that actually has actually also helped them. So when you're building a startup, build a system so that the business can work without you at some point. So that it's not that we are actually looking for you to sign a paper or something like that. Yeah. Um, Distribution is part of the product. Don't think that distribution is just let me build a product and then distribution comes later on. Distribution is one of the things that you actually have to put into the foundation of a product. And so, if you're building in Africa, trust matters more. Trust matters more. Put yourself out there. Talk about your product everywhere. Talk about your product on your socials. Talk about your product on events. Talk about your product. If you're driving a car, put ads on your car. If in case you're, print t-shirts and put them on. Like, let everyone know what you're doing. Trust matters most. We are in Africa. Trust matters most. And then offline still matters. Many people still don't have smartphones in Africa, so you actually have to make sure that you carry out things to do with events, you do things to do with agents and things like that. And then, payments matter, WhatsApp matters because every other person is still on WhatsApp. If you can actually build a product on top of WhatsApp, you're going to win because, Africans are on WhatsApp. Good, so some of the mistakes that we actually take as founders when it comes to distribution. We actually wait too long to think about distribution. This is a problem. Think about distribution when you start building, before you even start building your product. You should already think about how distribution is actually going to be done. And then number 2 is trying too many channels at once. Stick to one channel. If it's creating content, create content. Stick to that channel, leave alone the rest. Until this one works, now go to the next one. And then copying Silicon Valley without context. Bro, you will die. You will die. You actually have to localize what you have here. And then confusing likes and downloads with real usage. There's something that I read the other time that was saying that founders are liars. Most of the founders are, they put too much of traction and they put too much of likes and downloads, but then people are not using their apps or people are not using their products. Traction is not noise, traction is repeatable usage. When people come and use your app all the time, that is not traction, which investors actually are looking at. Good. So, how to design your distribution? Where do my users already hang out? They hang out on Twitter. There is where I'm going to find them. So choose one primary target channel, test it manually, make it repeatable, then scale. For example, our users, if we want to target students, so students are in universities, and if my students are in universities, what is the easiest way to find them? Okay, so students are often broke, right? And when they are often broke, if you incentivize them, if you give them money, they will actually try out and do things like that. So test that and actually see how to. Because if your product is good, they come back and use it all the time. So how to measure this is, cost to acquire, activation, and retention. Retention is the biggest one. You just don't want to give students money, 50 shillings, to download your app, but then are they going to use it? So, yeah. So, great products don't win alone, but great distribution carries them. Let's take, for example, Google and Gemini. I believe that Google is going to win this AI race because they have the best distribution. They have Gmail, they have Chrome, they have our own Android phones are powered by Google. And so if they already have Gemini on Gmail, on my Android phone, if I long press the power, I get my Google Assistant coming up. They have Chrome that is already AI powered right now. They're already releasing Discord next year. That is fully AI autonomous browsing. And so, that type of distribution, that is why I think, Google is going to win in this AI race. If you're building a startup, don't ask how good is my product. Ask How does it spread without you pushing it every day? Is it bringing someone else who is bringing someone else who is bringing someone else, and actually see how that goes? Because in startups, distribution is survival. If in case you learn something from this video, kindly share it with your friends. And if in case you have a startup that you actually want us to also look at and talk about distribution on the same, you can actually put it on the chat so that we see how that goes. Thank you, and see you in the next video.